Hi guys, welcome to Enginerds YouTube channel, and today we're going to continue our solution to set P of our board exam refresher for general engineering, and we are focusing on differential equations, particularly on the application of differential equations in chemical solutions. So in this video, we're going to answer problem number 8, which is case 1 ng ating application of differential equation na diniscuss natin sa ating introduction. Okay, so first, let me read the problem. A tank contains 800 liters of fresh water. Brine containing 2.5 newtons per liter of salt enters the tank at 20 liters per minute. And the mixture, kept uniform by stirring, runs out at 10 liters per minute. Find the amount of salt in the tank at the end of 30 minutes. And then we have our choices right here. So, ang una natin gagawin is illustrate muna natin yung ating given para mas madali nating ma-visualize yung ating situation. Okay, so initially, meron tayo ditong 800 liters of fresh water. So, we are informed that itong tank natin has fresh water. That is why I said this is case 1 ng ating application for chemical solution. So we have water here, fresh water initially. And this is 800 liters. Right, so we are told that brine containing 2.5 newtons per liter of salt enters the tank at 20 liters per minute. So may pumapasok na brine dito sa ating liquid sa ating tank. So let's say this is yung pumapasok na liquid sa ating tank, okay? So this is a brine. And then it contains 2.5 newtons per liter. So let's say this is our concentration 1, which is 2.5 newtons per liter, okay, ng salt, okay? And it enters at the rate, which is our volumetric flow rate 1, which is 20 liters per minute. And then sabi rin dito that it is kept uniform by stirring. So this is a well-stirred mixture. And it runs out at 10 liters per minute. Okay, so meron tayong another stream here, palabas ng ating tank. And it says that the rate, which is our V2, so this is 10 liters per minute. Now we need to find the amount of salt in the tank at the end of 30 minutes. Okay, so our time is 30 minutes. So at time is equal to 30 minutes, we need to find the amount of salt. So let's say Q is our amount of salt. So what is the amount of salt at the end of 30 minutes? Okay, so isulat natin yung ating mga assumption. So we have to let Q as the amount of salt in the tank. Okay, so we know that this is changing with time. And our time is in minutes. So yun ang mga kailangan nating tandaan. And also we need to take note that our volume is also changing with time, no? You're talking about here sa ating container kasi may pumapasok na brine at this rate. So of course, nagbabago yung ating volume, and at the same time, lumalabas din yung ating mixture in here. So our volume inside our tank is varying with time. So let us try to find out yung volume ng ating mixture inside the tank, no? So first, let's try to find out the volume of the mixture inside the tank. Okay? So alam natin na nagbabago yan with respect to time. So our volume is equal to, initially meron tayong 800 liters, di ba? So let us have here 800. Then plus, dahil may nadadagdag dito sa ating liquid na nasa tank, may pumapasok na 20 liters per minute. So okay, so we have 20 liters per minute. Okay, so 20 liters na nadadagdag every minute. So, in order to find our volume, you need to multiply these 2 times. So, okay, so we have to multiply this by time t para makuha natin yung volume. Now, at the same time, may lumalabas din ditong volume which is 10 liters per minute. So, we have to subtract that. So, we have minus 10 with respect to time t. Okay, so let's simplify that. We will have V is equal to 800 plus 10t. Okay, so yan yung ating equation for the volume with respect to time. Now, let us find out yung ating equation for concentration that is changing with time. So, we have concentration which is changing with time. Okay, so this is also changing with time, no? So, we know our equation for concentration. So, we have concentration is equal to the amount of salt over the volume ng ating liquid sa tank, no? So, ano ba yung nagre-represent ng ating amount of salt? We have Q, no? Ito yung ating assumption here. Q is the amount of salt in the tank. So, it will be Q, which is the amount of salt in the tank over the volume of the tank, which is V. Okay? So, ito yung volume ng ating liquid or mixture na nasa tank. Okay? Inside the tank. Yan yung ating assumption here. Okay, so amount of salt over the volume of the mixture. Okay, so meron tayong equation ng volume here to represent that as a function of time. So this will be Q over volume, which is 800 plus 10t. Okay, and take note that our unit here will be Newton per liter. Okay, because our amount of salt will be expressed in Newton. Yan yung mga given natin. It is in Newton per liter. Okay? So, tama lang na ang magiging unit natin will be Newton per liter. Okay, so now, what will be our basis of differential equation in here? Okay, so it will be the rate of change of the salt. Okay, so rate of change of the salt, which is in Newton per minute. So, nagbabago kasi yung amount ng salt natin sa ating tank, no? This will be equal to rate ng inflow ng ating salt, which is in Newton per minute, minus the rate of outflow of salt. Of course, this is also in newtons per minute. Okay, so that means we have to express our change in the amount of salt. Yung amount of salt natin is Q, di ba? So we have to express the change in the amount of salt with respect to time. So we're going to differentiate that. So the change to the amount of salt dq over the change in time. Okay? Now for the rate of inflow, this will be our volumetric flow rate times the concentration of our salt, di ba? So let us have a look at our inflow. So our inflow, merong pumapasok na 2.5 newtons per liter of salt in a rate of 20 liters per minute. So if you multiply that, you will have here 20 liters per minute times 2.5 newtons per liter. Okay, so as you can see, maka-cancel out yung ating liters here. So our unit will be newton per minute, katulad nung nire-require natin dito sa ating basis of differential equations, di ba? Right, so ganun din sa ating rate of outflow. We're going to multiply yung concentration natin sa ating volumetric flow rate. Okay, so our volumetric flow rate here, it's coming out at 10 liters per minute. But we do not know the concentration C, di ba? But we know that the unit of C will be in Newton per liter, no? So I'm going to remove our units for now para mas mapadali yung ating computation. So we will have here dq over dt is equal to 20 times 2.5, which is 50, minus 10 times c. Well, as you can see here, our amount of salt is differentiated with respect to time. Okay, so we have to express our concentration with respect to time as well. And we already done that dito sa ating number 2, concentration containing changing with time. So our C is equal to Q over 800 plus 10T. Right? So we're going to substitute yan dito sa ating equation dito. So we have dq over dt is equal to 50 minus 10 times our C, and our C is Q over 800 plus 10T. Okay? So saan nanggaling tong Q over 800 plus 10T? Ito yung ating C na nandito, no? Sinubstitute natin from here. Okay? So now we are going to rearrange that. So first, meron tayong 800 plus 10T dito sa ating denominator. Let me factor out 10 for this. So we have dq over dt is equal to 50 minus 10. Okay, so times q over 10 times 80. Okay, 80 plus t. Okay, so from here, you can see that our 10 here will be cancelled out. Okay, so ano yung may iwan sa atin dito? We will have dq over dt is equal to 50 minus q over 80 plus t. Okay, so now we are going to rearrange this. Lipat natin itong q over 80 plus t sa left side ng ating equation. So we have dq over dt plus q over 80 plus t is equal to 50. Now, what can you notice dito sa ating equation? Dito na papasok yung pinag-aralan natin in our previous video about linear differential equation of the first order, because this is the general equation of linear differential equation of the first order. Okay? So, dyan na ngayon papasok yan. So, i-apply natin yung natutunan natin last time. We have to identify our P and Q. Okay, so don't be confused. Iba yung Q rito, which is our assumption as the amount of salt. And yung Q natin sa ating differential equation of linear, no? Para hindi lang kayo ma-confuse. So, let's say, our P. What is our P in here? It will be 1 over 80 plus t. So, kung medyo nalilito kayo, please watch yung previous video natin about linear differential equation of the first order. So, our P here will be 1 over 80 plus t. And our Q in here is yung nasa right side ng ating equation, which is 50. Okay, so now we are going to take our integrating factor. So, ano yung integrating factor natin? This is e to the integral of pdt. So, let's substitute yung p natin. So, we have e to the integral of what is our p? 1 over 80 plus t dt. Okay. So, what is the integral of 1 over 80 plus t dt? So, we're going to take the derivative of our denominator in here. So, the denominator is 80 plus t. So, let's take the derivative of that, 80 plus t. So, it is just basically dt. Diba? So that means our integrating factor in here is just e to the ln of 80 plus t. Okay? Then using our laws of logarithm, we will know that this is our integrating factor will be just 80 plus t, right? So, yan yung ating integrating factor. So, ano yung natutunan nating steps in solving for the linear differential equation of the first order? So, we're just going to multiply yung left side ng equation natin sa integrating factor, which is 80 plus t. Then, it will just be q. right? Which is the amount of salt. So yan kasi yung nasa left side ng ating or first term natin dito sa ating general form. So it will be 80 plus T times Q. And this will be equal to the integral of the integrating factor, which is 80 plus T times yung Q natin sa ating differential equation, which is 50. Nasa right side ng ating general equation. So this will be times 50 dt. Okay? Right, so I'm going to take out itong 50. So we have here the integral of 80 plus T dt. Okay? So the derivative ng nasa loob ng ating grouping symbol na parenthesis is just dt, no? So that means we will have here 50 times 80 plus plus T. Okay? Let me correct that. 80 plus T squared over 2. Then, since this is an indefinite integral, so we'll have a constant. So, I'm not going to use C kasi mako-confuse tayo sa concentration. So, I will just use K instead. Okay? So, this is 80 plus T times Q. Sorry. So, this is 80 plus T times Q. Right. So, 50 divided by 2, we will just have 25 here. So, we have 80 plus T times Q is equal to 25 times 80 plus T squared plus K. So, basically, ito yung gagamitin nating equation. Okay? Kaya lang, pwede pa pala natin itong i-simplify. We have to take out itong 80 plus T sa left side ng ating equation. So, we'll divide both side by 80 plus T. So, we will have Q is equal to 25. 80 plus Q as plus T squared divided by 80 plus T. So, it will leave us with just 80 plus T. Then, plus K divided by 80 plus T. So, we have 80 plus T in our denominator. Okay, so gagamitin natin itong equation natin dito. Now, paano natin ngayon gagamitin yan? We have K which is unknown. So, una kailangan nating malaman yung K natin. So, let us find out what is the value of Q at given time T. So, we know that initially that means our time is equal to 0. How much salt is available or is present dito sa ating tank? Okay, so initially, as you can see at the beginning, at time is equal to 0, we do not have any salt dito sa ating tank. Okay, because initially we have fresh water dito sa ating tank. So therefore, at time is equal to 0, our Q, which is the amount of salt in the tank, is equal to 0, right? So let me go down. So at a given time T, our Q is equal to 0. Okay? So, let us substitute ng value niyan. So, at time is equal to 0, our Q is equal to 0. So, our Q is equal to 0. So, we have 0 times 25 plus 80 plus 0 plus K divided by 80 plus 0. Okay? So, we have 0 is equal to 25 times 80. So, okay, so let us use our calculator here. We have 25 times 80. This is equal to 2,000. So we have 2,000 plus K over 80. So, isolate natin yung K, no? So, we will have K over 80 is equal to negative 2,000. So, multiplying both side by 80, we have our K is equal to negative 2,000 times 80, no? So, we have negative 2,000 times 80. So, negative 80. So, we have negative 160,000. So, negative 160,000. Yan yung value ng ating K. So, substitute na natin yan dito sa nakuha nating equation dito, no? So, I'm talking about this equation right here. Kasi dito, unknown yung ating K. So, papalitan lang natin yung K nung nakuha nating value, which is negative 160,000. So, let me write that here. So we have Q is equal to 25 times 80 plus T. Then our K, so dito, our K is negative 160,000. No? So I will have minus 160,000 over 80 plus T. Alright. So ngayon, ang pinapahanap sa atin is yung amount of salt, which is Q. So what is the value of Q at time is equal to 30 minutes. Okay? So what we're going to do is to use this equation, substitute time 30 sa ating equation. No? So we have Q is equal to 25 times 80 plus T, which is 30, minus 160,000 over 80 plus 30. No? So we're going to solve this now. So our Q is equal to, so isa-isay na lang natin yung pag-solve para hindi tayo malito. So we have 25 times 80 plus 3, or 80 plus 30 I mean. So we have 2,750 minus, so 60,000 divided by 110. Okay, so 160,000 divided by 110. So we have here 1454.54. Right, so solving lang natin yan. Q is equal to, we have 2750 minus our previous answer. We have 1295.45. 1295.45, and the unit is in Newton. So this is our final answer in here. 1295.45. So tingnan natin kung nasan siya sa ating mga choices. So we have 1295.45 Newton of salt, which is letter D. Okay, so this is our final answer for problem number 8. Okay, so in our next video, we're going to answer problem number 9, which is case 2 sa pinag-usapan natin sa ating introduction. Okay, so with all of that and more, I'll see you in our next video.